So switching topics, you guys have already mentioned the fundraising piece of the SkillCorps program, that each person has to fundraise $5,000 to go on the trip, which covers the operational costs for the Global Autism Project. So what was the fundraising experience like for you guys?
For me in the beginning, it was another hurdle that I had to overcome. It was being transparent. It was being vulnerable. It was asking individuals for money, and that's the way that I saw it. And I had to put that aside and say, no, this is for a greater cause, and kind of informing them of what it was that I was doing. So I'm not going to lie, it was kind of like a part-time job. I was creating flyers, reaching out to businesses, friends, anything that I could do to kind of create a bigger audience so that I could fundraise as much as I could. It was beautiful though, like watching all those milestones that I was able to accomplish with the help from people that I knew, people that I didn't know, and just seeing how much support I had. Oh, it was so amazing. And then going on the trip and being able to show everyone what their donation did and what it was for was just so amazing. But for anyone who's willing or wants to go on the Global Autism Project and they're kind of nervous about the fundraising piece, don't. It is part of the journey. It is part of the experience. You will grow from it. It is so amazing. And you got this.
Yeah. I mean, well, I remember when I was getting interviewed, like I got accepted to the trip in March and my trip was in July. So I had like 3 months to fundraise $5,000. And some people had less time, you know? So, but I remember getting interviewed and they were like, oh, you have any fundraising questions? I'm like, you know what? No, other people did this. Lots of people have done this. So I can do it. Like if they can do it, I can do it. And it is a very hard, difficult task to do. I definitely suggest, like, if I was also studying for my board exam, like around that time, so I had other stuff going on, but it is kind of like a part-time job. I'm not going to lie, you know, it was a little difficult. You have to look at your community, you have to look at your resources type of thing, and you have to be very creative. I mean, and same thing, I went out in my community. I was there, like, you know, at little fundraising spots, just there with a table with stuff that I had that I was like fundraising with. And you have to be kind of vulnerable. You know, some days you might fundraise $0 and that's okay. But some days you might fundraise 500 in one day. You know, it's a journey, but you also need to remember that people have done this before and you can do it as well. And there's a community of people. So for me, I already connected with people on my trip and I kept asking them like for tips, like, hey, how did you get this? What have you been doing? The language that you use when you fundraise is very important. I reached out to my friends in marketing, to be honest. One of my best friends does marketing. And he was, so I asked him, you know, how should I phrase this? What should I do? He was with social media as well. So I asked him, you know, what should I do on social media? What hashtag should I use? You know, different things to just get the word out and just be vulnerable in what you're doing and your mission. You know, I think when people connect to your mission and the mission of the Global Autism Project, it really connects with them with their core. And that's where you get the most out of it, you know, and just reiterating, you know, I'm doing this for this purpose.
Yeah, it's funny how people do get creative with ways to fundraise. This isn't that creative, but I sold cookies at the local parks.
I did too.
I didn't make the cookies. I bought them at Trader Joe's and I just put them in Ziploc bags and I sold them for like $5. And I was surprised. Like some people were like, no, I don't want any cookies, but here's some money anyway. So it's about like not being afraid to ask. And you're exactly right. Like if you kind of enroll them in what the mission of the Global Autism Project is, of what SkillCorps is, then people will be happy to give. And sometimes they're just looking for a way to give back in some way.
Right.
But they don't know how, but here you are. Maybe they know you in some form and they trust you. They trust the cause. So then they're more willing to give that way.
Right.
You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments section. Click here to watch this interview in its entirety. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.